Okay, we're good. Yeah.
I'm ready for like those. Storyteller mo rin sa storyteller game master.
Okay, so I'm Justin Aquino. I'm presenting about online tabletop role-playing games. I've been playing since 2012. I've been GMing since 2013. I'm continuously running online role-playing games. I write about it. I am the author of Game in the Brain.blogtalk.com. I try to write my materials usually any game system. Oh yeah, question: how many people here play it online or they play? Oh, you play it online?
Yeah.
What do you use?
5th edition. Roll20.
Roll20. What's your medium? Is it Skype? Is it Hangout?
I prefer Skype for the calls. Mas prefer. Mas gusto ko kasi talaga.
Oh.
Skype and most of the campaigns I run in the US, usually I would use Skype.
Okay.
Pag sa Pilipinas, medyo okay naman, pero mas maganda pa rin Skype.
Okay. So anybody here have scheduling problems? Everybody here are having problems. You know, they want to have more players, and they want to try other GMs, other games. Anybody here have those kinds of needs? Yeah.
Yeah, share ko na experience ko. So, 8 years akong hayag sa D&D. Simply because in Laguna, so presenting in Laguna, South. Also, actually, Dan is the one who asked me to join Dungeon Dragon Philippines. So, the reason why I'm invited is because I don't have anyone to play with.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
The good thing is when I talked with Dan, I was also introduced to Roll20, and that's where it began. So now I'm playing 4 campaigns, 2 in the US, tapos 2 sa Pilipinas. So
Yeah.
Nice.
You're a good story and that is basically what happens when you get into online role-playing games. Okay, same story, very similar story as Jonas over here. Hiatus right after college, no gaming because you have to work. Your friends move away. A lot of my friends they moved abroad. I moved because I got married. I didn't get to play. I had like the longest time. It's only about 2012 did I get to play again. And the only time I got to play run a game was like once a year or twice a year. It was like I don't really count that as game. It's like twice a year, diba? So okay, next slide. So basically this is what happens. Everybody when you get out of college, you get a life. All these happen.
Stupid life.
Yeah.
That's what it
And, having children, creating a relationship, maintaining one. I hate that shit.
What's a relationship?
So yeah, you also get into certain things like gaming ideologies, like particular philosophies, particular systems. Then you have your change of priorities, how much can you game, what time can you game, and then there's all these other questions that you start thinking about when you don't get the game, like, shit, maybe I should be like a guy into bikes, or like, maybe I should get into, wargaming, or maybe I should start getting into MMOs again, or something. So these kinds of questions start
MMOs are
going
the devil.
So here are the challenges, syempre, when why these are problems. It's the fact that you have this thing called in economics they call it frictional employment. Basically, it's matching. You know when we have arguments online, particularly in gaming, it's like the reason why the argument is that the person has this particular thing he likes. The other person doesn't like that. He likes something else, and that's when the argument starts. And it's like we have the Facebook groups already. We've seen the arguments. Like parang when you're after a while, they're all the same template. It's like notifications off. So basically, it's like the same thing, same key problem.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, so you really just have to sell to your audience. to the right audience and right people. Talagang you might feel so isolated kasi when you don't play that long, you feel very isolated. Like, am I the only gamer I know? Is there anybody out there? Okay, existential problems then. So,
What is
Hindi ka
life?
Wilson.
yeah. So it's like another. I mean, what's the longest hiatus people have here when it comes to gaming?
16 years.
Oh, there.
Shit. Pare, 3 days nag-withdrawal na ako eh.
See? Okay, so logistics, everybody has logistics. And then cultural isolation, etc. This is when we start fraction. You feel isolated and you talk on the boards because you can't talk. You can't play, so you talk in the boards because you're venting the fact that you can't play. And
you feel depressed.
you know, they fractionalize, people draw their lines, they politicize, like, okay, this is because you're not getting engaged. If you're gaming, you're too busy to even argue. That's the most interesting thing about gaming. If you're gaming, you don't argue with anyone, you're just happy. That's the nice thing about it. Okay, next. Ayan, so try new things. Okay, I use Hangouts, but I'm not gonna just introduce Hangouts. I use the other stuff. So I got into G Plus because it was a new thing that was rolling out, and there's a lot of gamers there. Strangely, in G Plus, I'm me. In Facebook, I have another identity.
You're Juan de la Cruz.
Anyway,
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
thank you. You have this. So anyway, anyway.
We now know who the Batman
Anyway,
is.
so the thing about it is that when it's your name, you have to take care of it. If it's your identity, you have to segregate it. This is the internet. There are assholes everywhere. You have
Trolls.
You have to separate it. So kung separate ka, you might as well like it's if you read the user end agreement, end user agreement. Pero what I'm just saying that you must protect your identity. I'm not saying you violate the end user agreement. I'm just saying just you must protect your identity. And when you separate those things, you can vent in a nice place where it won't hit you back,
Yeah.
and you can enjoy yourself. So wait, this is the results. We meet new people, and next slide please. And we game a lot. This is the result of, I kind of skipped because this is the result I'm trying to sell in this kind of discussion. Jonas is a good example of what happens when you get into online tabletop role playing. It's all of a sudden, you don't have to deal with Manila traffic. You don't have to deal with people you don't like. There's 700,000 gamers in Roll20. Find the people who like you. It's like, holy crap, I'm special. Hell, I'm the smartest guy in the room. That kind of shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it is about matching to the right audience. Once you have the right audience, it's like, oh, pare, parang, you know, everything follows. Everything follows.
Synergy.
You get better. You get to try new things. You get to talk to different GMs. Like I learned in the, you could say, on the knee of GMs who were 10 years, 15 years my senior. So it's like, these are the same generation of guys who I end up being my GMs again when I get to online. Guys in their 40s and 50s, and they're there and they talk about Traveler and the good old days and stuff. And you see like, and you see all these kinds of different kinds of gaming philosophies and styles. And it's so weird because you can look at a guy who runs games in the US, then you see guys running it in Europe and particularly UK, and then there's guys in Australia who are roughly only just 2 hours apart from us. And then there's so many of them. You're like, why am I not friends with you? And you end up being friends with these people. Okay, next one. So yeah, after you like meet all these people because you game with them, like Roll20 has this thing that counts how many people you meet, how many people you played with, and it racks up. Once you get to the level that you start gaming 3 times a week, because you can game like 2 hours in and out, it's like, it's so convenient. Some guys will game like in an hour, they just play, after they get everything works, like you start connecting, etc. You game, oh shit, we're done. oh shit, my work. Given my lunch break, you know, that kind of, it's kind of a bit, yeah, addicting-ish. But after you get over that and you start balancing your schedule and shit, it kind of works out, and you have all these new people that you just met, and you're like, hey dude, hang out na lang tayo, huwag mo na mag-game. Then you start expanding even your horizons even more. And this is what one of the accidental things that happened. You started recording the discussions, and you had hangout mimic. And it's like, it's so easy. You don't even have to, you get used to having a camera on you when you record the games. It's like, okay, I know that it's okay to say shit and fuck, but it's, you know, kind of not. But it's okay, I don't give a shit. So, or yeah. Ano to, YouTube lang naman to eh. Anyway, it's like, it's not like ABS-CBN kind of shit. So it's like, so in the end you start having this and you start building something. And when those things rack up and you look at the discussions, it's like, wow, this was from online role-playing? Kind of, huh? How did that start? Okay, next one, please. Okay, just simple rule of getting into it. Just connect. Like, Jonas uses Skype. I use Hangouts. You can actually use Viber. You can do conference calls in Viber, which is actually like, and they made it free right now, right? Until mid-Feb, I think, or Feb 25. So it's like all of a sudden you can now do online. This is also with video. You call this. You can now do it for free, without having to have the bandwidth for it. There's Skype, there's Viber, there's G+. I've tried Skype. It's everybody has a Skype account, especially if you work. And if you work in call centers and you do conference calls, you get used to it. It has also really good compression. G+, though, it has differences. Would you know the system requirements for Skype? Okay, I'll just rattle down the one for G+. Okay, next one. Requirements. So, okay, this picture you see here, this is not the ideal way to play it. Having the video is awesome, right? HD quality, but you need 4 freaking Mbps to do HD quality everybody, up to 10 people. And then there's your maps and stuff, and the RAM that your computer eats up. Having the Chrome on is like a headache for the computer. Having Chrome on, LibreOffice on, or a word processor on is another headache for the computer. Having a browser on where you have your Obsidian Portal account and all the other things that you will use for support is a headache for the computer. So, yes?
The 4 Mbps figure, that's upload speed or
download speed. Because you upload just yourself.
Alright.
When everybody's there,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
wham! It's like you're, you know, bukake kind of thing. so
That's like the
know,
best reference of the day.
Yeah.
Yup.
Thank you.
Innuendos and that.
So, oh yeah, you're uploading yourself, but you're downloading like 10 other guys.
It's a Japanese Spanish.
That's the innuendo. Downloading.
It's a Japanese Spanish thing. Leave it at that.
So yeah, you'd wanna like lower that by just
No,
simply
it's
turning off
not
your
just
display.
Japanese now.
Yeah. Oh, there's another term for it? Okay, next one.
No.
Okay,
No.
simple notes. Okay, you get into Hangouts, you install it in your Chrome browser, it works on Firefox, etc. You have to like have at least, you know, a decent computer. By decent computer, these standards is like 2 gig RAM, at least. Phones have 2 gig RAM. If your computer does not have 2 gig RAM,
You suck.
I'm sorry.
Get your computer.
I'm so
You'll be ostracized. Yeah, so you have all the basics. You can test it out. If you've ever done anything like that, do a presentation in front of a crowd, and you had to check, you always have to check if it works. And sometimes, even though you did check, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work on the actual,
It's like, oh shit, I just checked this just 2 minutes ago. Okay, this is courtesy, headphones, and noise cancelling mics. If you're in the call center industry, you know the good ones. The good ones are Logitech, Plantronics, 1.5, 1.2. You can use the ones, another good one is the Apple Apple headphones.
I recommend USB connected
Yeah.
headphones for your computer.
It's nicer. It has a higher quality, and you know you need. Yeah.
Would you happen to have a list of that
Mas mabilis
for the
yung
benefit of us people who have
Actually,
no
I will
experience?
refer you to my blog because I actually blog about it.
Yeah.
I do a lot of detailed analysis on Roll20 and how to make your life easier. As in, how to when they show the picture of that the map with all those post-its. Whose battle map was that? That works. I was like, oh, I love that. That's like so easy. You don't have to do so much homework. You can have a life. You can take the wife out. You know, you can prepare for. You know, you can have fun with your child. You can like, you know, bring him to the playground and stuff. Instead of like, oh shit, I have to download this, and then your wife's gonna be mad. So anyway, it's much easier if you.
Out of personal experience.
Yeah, it's really easier just to do it that way.
Tell your wife you love her.
Yeah. Love you, babe. Good one. Yeah.
Bit safe.
Yeah. Cut the background apps. Everything eats up RAM. I mean, if you have ever tracked your RAM using Task Manager in both Linux and Windows, if you just use a word processor, it all eats up. So the trick is to use your mobiles. So if you have a tablet, if you have a phone, open your PDFs there, and they'll come in handy. You minimize video just to use Mac. Basically, what we do nowadays, just to make it work more consistently and more reliably, is everybody just turns off their video.
Unless there's a chicks.
Then you do is you share your monitor. I forgot to do that last game, but you share the monitor. That's great because it's so useful. You just show, oh, dude, I don't know how to like use the macro. Okay, share monitor. Everybody can see your monitor. Oh, it's here, and you just show it. And then when you're telling the story, I use social maps kasi I run a political intrigue, 11th century, Roman Empire, 2 years prior to the Crusade, 4 years prior to the Crusade. It's a lot of history, so it's a lot of data to crunch. And since I'm using real people, it's like this incredible mind map that I could have showed you. But yeah, you can just use story maps. And my favorite thing about online role-playing games, oh, it's this guy, he looks like this. Look at, anybody here movie buffs? Yeah. This guy, or anybody who watches Game of Thrones, or all these various miniseries, period miniseries, like Vikings and stuff. It's like, oh, it's like this guy. So what I did was download those things, you know, through Netflix and stuff. And cuts,
Well, someone did, so.
yeah. So I got all the extras and
Because
all
we can do
the
that here in the
people
Philippines.
and start using them as tokens. So it's like, oh, I have this guy, slap a face down. Like, everybody will remember, it's that guy I saw in that movie. Or, if they didn't watch the movie, okay, whenever you're talking about this person that we encountered, I have a face. It's so convenient. It's like, it's a godsend. Like, ever since I did that, I don't have to prep anything. I can just make shit up. I mean,
Yeah, that's what Mark said.
yeah, you really can just make shit up. What I do is I have a huge catalog of all these NPCs from all these Chinese movies because I was running Warring States period, Warring States period of China. I downloaded all the movies, and then through Netflix, and then I started capturing all the screen capping all the NPCs and stuff. And every time, like, oh, there's this guy. Okay, I slap a face down. And if you're a GM, it's like, is that guy important in the plot? You can't tell because it's a face. It's like, oh man, he turned his back on this guy. The GM's like, oh yeah, you befriended him, or you were a jerk to him. Yeah, he's gonna remember that. It's so easy. I mean,
His face looks generic.
yeah. One should have those tools.
You realize they said they have the same 10 extras in all the Chinese movies.
We're not being stereotypical.
But the thing about it is
That's why
like,
they all look alike.
your players can't keep track of that. That's the most interesting thing. And when they start changing costumes, like of course there is what's her name, Gong Li in this movie, Gong Li in this other movie. Sometimes she looks really different. Sometimes she looks and other guys. Anyway, they have different costumes, so you could use it. And sometimes you can Photoshop it if you have the time. But I'm too lazy, so I just just grab it. So yeah, okay, you have all these images, you have all these maps, you have all these tools. Before you start the game, ideally you reset your routers if you're at home. If you're using whatever tool you're using, usually you tend to turn it off and on, reset it just to make sure it works. Have more than one ISP. This is not common for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody tends to just have one ISP. If you can, have more than one because there's no peering in the Philippines. Sometimes you might be having a hangout with somebody in beside you, but he's just using PLDT and you're using Globe. It's gonna be the ping's gonna be about 0.2 seconds of lag because those two freaking ISPs aren't nice to each other. So there. Mobile on standby. This is so useful. I can't believe I didn't start doing this earlier. Okay, you guys all have computers and have done online games?
Yes.
Like even FPS, Counter-Strike, Insurgency, anybody? Okay. You know, it fails. Sometimes it fails. The nice thing about Hangouts is that it happens in the Google servers. So it's happening in the Google server, you all of a sudden drop out. You drop out, turn on your phone, call using your phone. You're there. Your pictures, you have like 2 pictures of yourself. One's hanging and one's working and you could still run the game. It's almost no downtime. If it's the same internet, if you're using your router, ouch. If you're using the 3G or the 4G, might be helpful if you have. As long as it's a separate thing. Like, if it's a problem with your router, there's nothing much you can do about it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know how much data a conference call uses? Because a lot of us here might be on the fixed data plans, like 5 gigabytes.
Okay. It's only 0.3 Mbps. That's with video. If it's just pure audio, it's 0.04. Call center guys. Okay. 1 Mbps can hold 20 agents. And audio back and forth.
Okay.
So 1 Mbps. So that's all you really need. But you need buffers.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is not really
Data
bandwidth.
consumption.
It's actually the data consumption. So
Yeah.
how many megabytes per hour are we talking about? Do you know? Would you know?
I know it's when I last calculated, it's 0.05 Mbps.
So that's
per second.
Per
per second. So that would be
So wait, that's bits?
Bits. Gigabytes.
Yeah. So divide by 8, divide by blah blah blah.
Well, okay, math geniuses.
All right.
Room full of gamers. Where's our math genius here?
I
Well,
got
that will work for free.
What's the math?
It's
Just open that bag. There's a
how many
calculator.
megs is
No, really, there is.
how many megs is
yeah, well, I'll calculate it.
In a-
Just
Yeah, you have
what
a
do you-
gigabyte?
And then you have to factor the.
We're getting schooled by
how
the
many
grass.
gigabytes? How many megs is it to run a hangout for an hour? If it's assuming 0.05 for just audio.
0.05 for audio.
Mbps.
How many
8
megabytes?
bits per byte.
8 bits to byte. So times
And 4 megabytes, that's gonna be.
times 8.
No, 120. No,
10,
8 bits to a
24.
byte. 1024 bytes to a kilobyte. 1024 kilobytes to a megabyte.
So 0.005 per second, right? So
That's per
times per second. So that's 60 seconds. That's a minute.
Times 60.
Wait, no, actually it's not about seconds pa eh. It's about frames.
Okay, this is just seconds. This is just
Seconds and then hour.
we admit.
This is like a rough estimate.
Rough estimate.
So 180 megabits. How many megabits in a megabyte? 8?
No,
Less.
8 bits to a byte.
8 bits to a byte. So 8
No,
divided.
megabits is you multiply bit. It's 1000
Yes,
bit.
1,000.
You have to convert it into bytes. You have to divide
So
it.
the bits are smaller, diba?
Yes.
So it's much smaller. Okay, so it's really small.
So 1.8 megabits, so that's one.
I remember that.
Conversion 101.
No, 1.8 million bits. You divide it by
I was
8.
looking at my hat.
You convert it into bytes, and you divide it by 1,000 twice. Convert it into bytes.
225,000.
So, okay.
Divide by 124. Then divide
Well,
by
that's
124.
this is what you do when you're
23
also,
megs per hour.
okay. That's not bad.
23 megs per hour.
And
Per
that's
player per
second.
hour.
And normally
Per
it's
player per
50
hour.
gig, right?
That's per
23 megs per player
And per hour.
per hour.
So 4 players,
Oh shit.
100 megs.
100 megs.
If you have a 5 gig plan, you can probably only use it like once or twice
A month.
a month.
But that's a lot. Anyway, if you're gonna do it that way, you better use your plug your phone in, because I use Hangouts just for for these purposes. When I use just the phone, even though it's a new battery. The government did something bad again.
Like always.
Yeah.
Like every
Government. So it's like something happens, life happens, and you guys can't meet. When you're halfway through on EDSA, surrounded by traffic, it's like really pissed off. Like, damn, should have just done something else. But when you're at home or waiting in a restaurant for the traffic to die down, or you're just somewhere else, you're like, oh shit, I can't connect. Let's see if the other guys are still around. Maybe we can play something else. So it's really, really convenient. So it's like, oh, this plan didn't work, I'll try another one. Hey, who's free for a game? That's how convenient it is. So it's like you can imagine how people eventually end up playing 3 games and 3 games a week almost every week. The GM I had ran that much games. He was GMing 3 games a week every week, and I was wondering how the hell did he do that? This is 4-hour games, by the way. Okay, next. Okay, pros and cons. I kind of like mentioned it earlier. Convenient. Manage expectations. This is a nice thing about being online. It's not you. It's not really you. You can manage everything. You can manage perceptions. You get it? If you know how to cultivate an online personality, if you know how to censor yourself and not be a total ass, you can always bring your best foot forward. You can always tell the players, you gotta look at it this way. Actually, I use my videos as managing expectations. This is the kind of GM I am. Here's my video. If you don't like the way I GM, it's not for you. Simple as that. That's another nice thing about the recording. Multitasking. Yesterday, I was running a game. I was managing whispers. Whispers when you private messages of the GM to the other players. I was fixing technical difficulties. My wife was hungry. My kid wanted to poo, and all these other things were happening at the same time. That's an extreme situation. I was running a 4.5-hour intrigue game, and I had 5 players. It was really hard. I'm still reeling from it. You get it? If you ever have to do multitasking that much, kind of like parang someone's
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're skipping frames. You start skipping frames.
Blocking out.
What? So that, you have to multitask. That's the thing about it. When you're on a table face to face, the multitasking is instinctual. You're reading your players, you're reading the situation, you're reading your notes. It's easy because you have the tactile thing. But when you just have a computer, one source of input, it's different. Yeah. There's like yeah. Di ba yung sinabi ko about the RAM? Have you ever experienced that yung talagang mabagal siya because of the...
16 gig kasi ako naram.
Sorry. For benchmark.
I'm using just a 4 gig RAM.
I would recommend if you want to upgrade your computer, always upgrade the RAM first because it's the cheapest one. So, actually ngayon 4 gig is mura na lang kumpara dati.
Standard na ngayon 4 gig,
Yes.
di ba? Nothing goes below 4 gig. That's
Entry level.
this year.
Ngayon may binibenta ng 8 gigs per stick. So,
Yeah, so RAM,
Use Kingston.
get as much RAM as you can. it actually, if you have a gaming platform, that's the best platform to run this game. Which is more excuse for you to get a gaming platform. I have to run online games to cut the amount of gaming time.
Yeah, I needed
So
some
I'm gonna-
Microsoft Word.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna buy. Is that 32 gig? Okay. Anyway, yeah. Since it's so convenient, I run my games 6 to 7 a.m. because my family's asleep. Diba? I talk to people at around different time zones when everybody else is asleep, or everybody else is stuck in traffic, or everybody else is doing something else. Hey, Toby.
Hi, Toby.
And
Hi, Rocky.
I'm feeling too.
Hey, Toby.
sorry, I'm still skipping.
Yes, thanks for coming over. I know you're not feeling well.
Oh,
Keep going, keep going.
okay. So, yeah, the wide range of people, I kind of mentioned a lot of the posts, and I always keep emphasizing on convenience
Okay.
because everybody's bitching about the government.
Burning box.
And one of the other nice is access to
Burning
more
bus.
ideas and styles. This obvious lag. I had a player that had a 2 to 3 second lag. It's Australia. It's like I say something, I can hear it because he's using speakers. I can hear it coming from him like 2 to 3 seconds later. And he reacts about a few seconds later. It's like, shit, it's almost 5 seconds. Every time I talk to him, and then you're like, you wanted to say something, but every time you interrupt him, and it's like loop, unending cycle. Wait, continue. No, continue. You get it. It's really you have to be. You get really good at it. You get really good at it, and that happens less. But it does happen.
It's actually one of my frustrations with running a game online. Because
Uh,
I ran a game when I was in Minnesota, so with my players here in the Philippines. There was an annoying 3-second lag.
okay.
So when I was talking, and then we couldn't sync up because we were supposed to have the conversation. We couldn't sync up. That's why it's one of my frustrations in running games online for my experience.
Oh, then there's distractions. You're at home. Same distractions work at home people have. You have. Somebody has to poo. You gotta watch that person. You gotta help him. You gotta like coach them through the whole thing.
Mind over matter, buddy. Mind over matter.
First, hindi lang doon sa lag.
chess.
Doon sa lag, while the person's talking, you want to interrupt, you just use sign language. Now you're gonna do like this, you're gonna interrupt.
Yeah, you go
Yeah, you can use body language, but it eats more bandwidth because you're gonna turn on the video. It's like
if he's British, you go like this.
So if you want to save on bandwidth and you want to make it more reliable, you try to turn it off. Then what you do is actually when you get familiar with each other, and the players learn the learning curve, they pass the learning curve and stuff. They get it. They'll explain the whole thing and say, "Okay, I'm done," kind of thing. And you get it.
I also recommend the Roll20 chat. So if I'm talking or describing the environment, so if they want something to interrupt me, so they just chat on the Roll20.
Yeah. I keep telling my players that they don't seem to. But yeah, it's okay. Like I do it when the players are talking, and I have to talk to another player, like a whisper. It's like, what was I writing about? Oh, and then I have that same player was like, dude, that was a secret. He's reading it aloud. The whisper's like, and it's a recorded session. Like, yeah, exactly. You all know that.
I meant that.
Figure it out.
So like, yeah, that's the thing about running. It's kind of different, but when you get the hang of it, it's very convenient and very easy.
It's a hashtag.
And yeah, different infrastructure than face to face. You don't have books. You know how heavy that was when I brought that here? Well, I was like fucking 40 pounds. Like I couldn't I was really regretting can't carry it any other way. It was really heavy. And sometimes when you're using certain books, certain game systems, it piles up. And that's why you go to the GM's house.
Yes. That's a good point. Yes.
Dude, unless you're carrying it, you go to my house. There's no way. There's no other.
I'm
way
going
around.
up those
I bought
stairs.
freaking carry-on luggage to bring my stuff here. Case in point.
Yeah, that's it. You really need. You can't help it. In fact, yeah, I'm so dependent on PDFs. I use tablets, mobiles now, because it's like it's really bad for your back.
Legally
it's
purchased
useless.
PDFs.
So I have to buy a mobile now.
Legally
I have to buy a
purchased, of
tablet.
course.
Yeah. So
I have my online receipt
yeah. Oh, actually that too.
in my email.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the other parts is harder to read people. But the thing about it, and there's a little bit more trust. There's need for trust. That's a nice thing about it. When you have a lot of trust, you don't need the system so much. When you tell a good story and the players are enjoying it, but you're giving the players a hard time pa rin, and they're still enjoying the story, there's a lot of trust. You don't depend on the system so much. But one of the things about it is like because the lag problem, as we talked about, we joked about, to prevent that, you gotta trust the player, let him tell the story, and you yes and. Anybody familiar with the yes and philosophy? Yes, yes and. So like, ito pa, yung pa nagtuturo. Anyway, so, if anybody here is familiar with the yes and, you go with it. It might not really work, but I trust you. I'm the GM, I'll try to make it work. So,
Or make it up.
make it up, yeah. And strangely, that's been working out for me. Yeah, hardware fail, and less Filipinos online. Oh damn, I have to deal with foreigners. Australian accent, when you first hear it, it's like, what?
Did you say gripe or great?
Isn't that like a pro?
Hey, buddy.
It's actually, yeah, British and Australian accents are, if you're from Filipino background, you're used to American, it's really difficult. It was good thing when I first played, I was a player, so I just listened to the GM. I'm trying to take cues from how everybody else is reacting. Yeah, I'll do what he did. And oh shoot, does anybody here accidentally start copying accents when they're listening to it long enough? Yeah, so that's not an insult.
You copied badly.
Oh, and you copied badly. Okay, that happens. That happens. But it's not a bad thing. You meet other people. I have a Serbian player now. I had a Belgian player. And all this other stuff. And it's very interesting the things they tell you from their basic circumstance. And it's like napapaisip ka, talaga? I don't know, I'm not, if you guys ever have a significant other that likes to travel, and you're a gamer, like, I want to stay home. Oh look, I'm worldly now. I know about Serbia and stuff. So yeah, roll20.net.
Is Roll20.net free?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
But the nice stuff happens when you pay. Better stuff.
But only for the
Like a
GM.
massage parlor.
We recommend that the GM must be a supporter and then the player is a free member. That's it.
Yeah. Actually, everybody can chip in for the GM too.
Exactly. Or you can also pay for the GM to be the supporter.
Yeah, you can pay for the GM.
And how much is it?
There's the $50 and $100 one.
For how long?
99 something. It's a year.
Nice.
1 gig for the supporter, and for the patron level, it's $100 a year. It's like having a 2 terabyte Dropbox account. So which somebody here has. So it's really nice because of the dynamic lighting. Now, if you're a GM and you didn't want your players to see certain things, it's like, okay, stay there, don't look. It's kind of like harder. You're peeking, XP penalty, no, but in Roll20, dynamic lighting is like, they can see only you dictate the field of vision. You dictate the shadows. You dictate what they can see through, what they can move through. And when you can dictate that, it's like, it's a different game for the players and for the GM. The player's like, where are we? Where's the enemy? And the GM's like, and like, cue in Jaws music. So it becomes a very powerful game. other than the dynamic lighting, there is the tablet,
The DM overlay.
the DM overlay, the tablet, and moving stuff around. Like I ran Warring States, and there are a lot of things that are similar to Warring States, Crusade games I'm running. Transfer, assets, like the characters, I just made them Chinese. Simple as that. A lot of things like that. It's
You
easier.
have 10 minutes.
Okay, next one. Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you're free, you still have access to this. Now, what I like about this is that it's your own way to find your audience. Make up a campaign just so that you can find people who like your ideas. Hey, I like that game. You know, you can create a pitch. I want this particular D&D game in this dark Middle-earth setting where Sauron had a best friend. Something like that. And then the guy, I like that! That's like Friends, but Middle-earth.
Sauron and me.
Sauron.
So you can imagine it. And you meet people who say, I like that game. What's your schedule? After you find the people who say, I like your game, you befriend them, then you ask, hey, what's your schedule? Can this work? One, if it can't, okay, too bad. But if it can, you have a game. But even if you can't make the schedule work, you have this person that shares the same interests as you, who likes that, Friends, Sauron thing going on, and dancing along a fountain and stuff, with Chandler and stuff. So you have that thing.
Saruman is Joe.
How are you doing?
How are you doing? So you got that thing going. So it's like a really nice way to build up not just your confidence. You meet all these people, you meet kind of people you want to talk to, and eventually you have a game. And that's when also the more addicting things come in. Basic tips. I already went. Actually, I went through here. Culturally informed, understand different accents. Eastern European accents are hard. Australian, British accents are hard.
Black American.
No, actually, no problem because of the
Media exposure
a lot
here.
of the media exposure here with no.
Have you played with any Indians?
No, but I worked with a lot.
Have you insulted anyone?
Have you ever played with any
racially?
Indians?
Yes.
I
Intentionally.
played a Chinese
Be
character.
honest.
And I use a Hong Kong accent, like what I would hear in Hong Kong. Loud Hong Kong businessman accent.
And they turn
But I'm
off.
1/8 Chinese, so it's not that bad, right?
Be
But
honest.
okay, who gives a shit?
Why
It's
you
recorded.
that?
Oh no, they didn't like my accent. Oh, thumbs down. Who gives a fuck? I was like, really, enjoy it. You could be politically incorrect. Your friends don't give a toot. They like you. You're happy. You're not like doing something like
Hanging
Well,
out
again,
it's
gamer
not a
game
hate
stuff.
crime or
game stuff. No, you're not hurting anybody. It's
Listen,
just an imagination.
You can say you're role-playing a person in that country, which you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Diba?
My first
It's your best
character was accidentally rolled as a businessman. I happened to make him I made him Chinese because I was studying Mandarin at the time. So
We're just pulling out the stereotype.
yeah, I was also trying, since I was listening to a lot of like Chinese lessons, I was trying to copy the accent. So it's like, oh, they don't pronounce P and B, it's the same sound to them and stuff. Okay. Yeah, common ground, multitasking. I kind of went through this again. Last but not least, record your games in on air. Once you start recording it and you realize that when you captured magic, oh shit, there was magic in my game and I got it and I'm showing the freaking world. Like, holy shit, I did something awesome. My players did something awesome. Share it! Share! Copy paste the YouTube link in Philippine Tabletop and other things. So yeah, you can do that here. Like, hey, can you see I'm awesome? Okay. Next one. Yeah. So closing remarks. Try it out. Meet new people. Game. Challenge yourself. Grow. Watch yourself grow because you could record it. So questions?
Old.
Any questions?
Any question?